Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ed Durbis. This is 93 Driving. Today we'll be testing out the 2022 Hyundai Tucson with a 2.5 liter four-cylinder producing 187 horsepower and 178 pounds of torque, and it'll propel this car from 0 to 60 in about 8.8 seconds, and it'll reach the quarter mile in about 16.3 seconds. Now let's do a little history review of where Hyundai has come and what has been going on. Hyundai came into the market back in 1986 with the XL, and it came in two variations. The first one was a five-door hatchback and a four-door sedan. They produced a four-cylinder engine producing about 68 horsepower, and they propelled that car from 0 to 60 in about 13.5 seconds, and it did that quarter mile in about 19.3 seconds, which is not quick at all. But comparing it back to 1986 with other manufacturers, say Toyota, Honda, they all had about the same amount of output and power, so they basically were online. They also did come with a big warranty they do today. Obviously, that's what they're known for this huge warranty. And Hyundai had just continued building and building and building to the point that back in 1998, Kia had financial difficulties when Hyundai came in and stepped in and purchased about 33.3% of the company. So now Kia is owned by Hyundai as well. And now in 2015, they decided to go and compete with the likes of BMW and Mercedes, and that's when they introduced the Genesis brand. And as you see today, it has completely changed the market. It's a great value for the price if you're looking for a luxury new car. But anyway, back to this car in general. One of the aspects about these cars is they all have about the same amount of power as any other car. That's the one we tested, the Audi Q3 GLB. I mean, they all have about the same output. So the question is, you know, you get a lot of money for the bunk. I think the best thing to do is to get this show on the road. One of the most important things I like to say is I like to thank our subscriber who's actually letting us use their car and take it for a test drive and see what it's like. And then we'll do a little review and see what is what. Design-wise, absolutely, they nailed it right spot on. I mean, you can just tell by the LED headlights in the front. The design itself actually comes from one of the ex-designers from Mercedes-Benz as well. So with no further ado, let's get this show on the road and let's see what this 2022 Hyundai Tucson has to offer. All right, here we are. We're gonna take the 2022 Hyundai Tucson and let's get this 187 horsepower and 178 pounds of torque on the road and see what she's like. So we'll take it softly down, kind of neighborhood road, and then we'll take a little bit on kind of somewhat of a country-ish road, so to speak, and see how she handles, how she feels. Like I said in my intro right off the bat, this car falls down exactly below the other entry small SUVs are at with when I mean in regards of power. They all have about the same amount of power. It's just a matter of how they all handle. Obviously we've discussed this with the Q3 and the GLB, so let's see how this feels. Right off the bat, I have to admit that steering feel is much better. It's not over assist like some of the German cars, which is nice to see. That can really get somewhat annoying. So let's see what she does down here. We'll take it through a little twisty road and see if there's any body roll whatsoever. Display wise, it's very clear, clean. It's got a very elegant appearance to it, almost classic, which I think over time is going to age well. Overall feel is really good. It feels actually peppy for the amount of power that it does come out of the engine. Pedal feel is good. It's not, you don't have to put a lot of pressure to it. It just it works well with how much effort you're putting into it. We'll head down here into a little open road and we'll give it the beans, as they say, and see how she handles. coming on a turn, there's a little bit slight of body roll, but that's obviously normal for a car that is up high, especially an SUV. You want it to be up high, obviously, since it is supposed to go off-road. A majority of owners who own these cars never do, but I have a little open road, give it a little gas, up to speed. Yeah, it gets up and goes. It's not dramatic. It feels comfortable. Gas mileage, you know, if you want to know about gas mileage, you can go tune another channel. This is 93 Driving, more about the feel of the car. It eats up the bumps pretty well. There's a slight little bounciness to that, but that's normal for smaller SUVs. They don't have the long wheelbase. If it was longer, it would eat some of that bounciness. But otherwise, it feels well. Controls are all laid out exactly where you want them. Climate control is exactly where you want it to be. It's simple to read. There's nothing complicated about it. The entertainment system, especially with the Apple Play, it integrates magnificently well. All the other buttons that you use on a regular basis are very
Police
clear to read.
ahead.
As you can see, Johnny Law is ahead, so we gotta watch our speed. But otherwise, it rides at normal speeds. It rides smoothly well. Absolutely no drama whatsoever. As you can see, there's our friend Johnny Law. We'll wave at him and say hi. How you doing, sir? All right, here we go. We're riding on the small country road. We're going to come up through a couple of twisty roads, and we'll see how she handles around the twisties. First, need to figure out what this Hyundai's up to. Okay. Wrong side blinker, but it's okay. Let's go. Up the hill we climb. Make sure we don't hit the bikers. The ride's pretty smooth. Feedback is really good coming through the steering wheel. Yeah, it's a fun little SUV. And I would have to say that its price point is a very compelling car to shop for. Especially if you start taking into consideration the warranty these cars come with, which is quite impressive with a 10-year, 100,000 miles. Yeah, it rides smoothly, handles well. No drama whatsoever. Yeah, it's pretty peppy coming up the hill. Here we go. We're gonna do a little stint on the highway. We got it on sport, and let's see how the dynamics actually change from comfort to sport. One of the things I do notice is that the steering has tightened up a little bit. It's holding the gears a little bit more, taking it up to a higher RPM. You can tell that it's keeping it at a lower gear instead of going automatic to the highest gear for fuel economy. So it's ready to go ahead and jump whenever you give it the beans. Suspension still feels the same. I'm not noticing a big difference on it, which is good. Suspension was set up fine on comfort, so I don't think they really needed to change that. We'll come up to a sharp turn. Yeah, it soaks up the bumps pretty well. Yeah, brakes feel good, so you don't have to put too much pressure to get them to bite. You definitely do notice it isn't sport, because like I just mentioned, it is holding in a lower gear, so even when you give it a little gas, it's instantaneous that it just wants to go. Yeah, it runs pretty smooth. I would have to say that overall my feeling is that at the price point where it is, or where we talked about this earlier, we touched based on it, it is a very compelling price, especially when you consider the warranty this car comes with, and also with just the brand recognition of where the brand is going. It's definitely one of those cars that you want if you're looking for a small SUV. It's definitely a car that you want to put in your list to take a look and take for a drive. But overall, it's a pretty smooth little car. So yeah, it rides smoothly, quietly. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this show. It definitely was fun to make. I'm very thankful for our subscriber to let us come and take the car for a drive and see what it's like. As always, I appreciate your support. Do share, comment, hit the notification bell, and please be safe. And I'll catch everybody in the next video very soon. Until then,